Close-up of someone doing sloppy push-ups. Hips sagging, elbows winging out, barely going halfway down, slow motion, almost painful to watch. You've been doing these since PE class, okay? Real talk. You've been doing push-ups your entire life. Gym class, boot camps, home workouts. You've probably done thousands of them, and there's a very good chance almost all of them were wrong. Wrong like you'll hurt yourself. Wrong like you've been working hard, sweating, grinding through reps, and leaving probably 60% of the gains on the floor. Today, we're fixing that. We're going through the 7 most common push-up mistakes I see every single day, from beginners all the way up to people who've been training for years, and more importantly, why each one is silently killing your progress. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete, step-by-step checklist for the perfect push-up. And I promise if you actually apply this, your chest, shoulders, and triceps are going to feel a push-up properly for maybe the first time ever. Let's go. Montage of different people doing push-ups. Gym, home, park. Mix of good and bad form. 7 mistakes. Real science. Actual fixes. Quick note before we dive in. I'm not here to make you feel bad about your push-ups. I'm here because the push-up is genuinely one of the most underrated exercises in existence, and most people never unlock its full potential because nobody ever taught them the mechanics properly. A correctly performed push-up trains your chest, your anterior deltoid, your triceps, your serratus anterior, that's the muscle that makes your ribcage look like a superhero, and your entire core. It is a full body pressing movement disguised as a floor exercise. When it's done wrong, it's just tired arms and a sore lower back. Alright, mistake number 1. Mistake number 1. Flared elbow. Side by side elbows flared at 90 degrees vs. elbows at 45 degrees. Both in slow motion. The chicken wing problem. Call this the chicken wing. You've seen it. You've done it. Elbows shooting straight out to the sides like you're trying to fly. Here's why this is destroying your progress. When your elbows flare out at 90 degrees to your torso, you're putting your shoulder joint into a position called horizontal abduction under load. Sounds technical. What it means is, you're grinding the front of your shoulder capsule into the humeral head with every representative. Thousands of times. That's a recipe for nagging shoulder pain, rotator cuff irritation, and eventually, an injury that takes you out of training entirely. But here's the bigger issue for your gains. Flared elbows actually reduce chest activation. Studies on pec major M, that's just measuring how hard a muscle is working consistently, show that a 45-degree elbow angle increases chest muscle recruitment compared to a 90-degree flared. 45 elbow angle equals more chest, less shoulder stress. Think about how you bench press. Same concept. You wouldn't bench with your elbows straight out. Why would you push up that way? The fix, from the top of your push-up, look down at your hands. Your elbows should track back and out at roughly a 45-degree angle from your torso as you lower. Not 90 degrees. Not pinned completely to your sides. 45. It'll feel weird the first time. Stick with it. Pattern interrupt number 1. Fun fact. The average person does 47% more reps with bad form than good form. I made that statistic up. But you know it's true. You've seen it. You've lived it. Mistake number 2. Sagging hips. Close-up of someone's lower back and hips. The classic banana back push-up. Then corrected version. The banana back, hips drooping toward the floor. Lower back arched like a cat doing yoga. Wrong. We've all been here. This one's sneaky because it looks like a push-up. You're going down, coming up, getting reps in. But here's what's actually happening. When your hips sag, your core disengages completely. And the moment your core disengages, your lower back takes on the compressive load that your abs were supposed to handle. Do this enough, and you're not building a stronger chest. You're just building a very consistent lower backache. There's also a huge efficiency problem here. A push-up is essentially a moving plank. Your body should be one straight line from crown to heel. When you break that line, you're basically doing 2 exercises at once. A partial chest press and a lower back extension, and you're doing both of them badly. Here's a cue that actually works. Squeeze your glutes hard before every single representative. Not slightly, hard, like you're trying to crack a walnut. Don't think about that too much. When your glutes are engaged, your pelvis naturally tilts into neutral, your core braces automatically, and your body locks into that straight line position. It takes about 3 seconds of setup. It changes everything. The fix: before you lower, glutes squeeze, abs braced. Imagine someone is about to punch you in the stomach. Hold that tension for the entire set, not just the first representative. Mistake number 3: shallow range of motion. Someone doing quarter rep push-ups, looking proud. Then full range of motion push-ups, side by side. Ego reps. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen someone do 20 push-ups where they move about 4 inches? Just bobbing their head. Full upper body stationary. Very vigorous neck workout. This is the ego representative. And it's everywhere. Here's the science. And it's actually really cool. Research on time under tension, the total amount of time your muscles spend working against resistance, shows that a full range of motion dramatically increases muscle damage, metabolic stress, and ultimately, growth stimulus, compared to partial reps. More practically, when you don't go all the way down, you're cutting off the stretch portion of the representative. And the stretch is where a huge amount of mechanical tension is generated in the muscle fiber. You're basically doing the easy part twice, and skipping the part that actually makes you stronger. Full ROM equals more tension equals more gains. Simple math. But I can do more reps with shorter range of motion. Yeah, that's the point. That's why you're not getting stronger. The fix: your chest should touch or nearly touch the floor at the bottom of every representative. If you can't get there with good form, that's your actual fitness level. Own it, train at it, and you'll get stronger, faster doing 10 full range reps than 20 partial ones. Someone doing controlled, full depth push-ups pattern. Interrupt number 2, quick question, rhetorical question. If you were doing bicep curls and you only curled the bar halfway up every single time for years, would you be confused about why your arms aren't growing? Of course not. So why do we accept it from push-ups? Mistake number 4: wrong hand placement. Overhead shot of hand positions too wide, too narrow, too far forward. Then the sweet spot hand placement lottery. Most people never think about where their hands are. They just put them somewhere and start pushing. And that somewhere is usually either too wide, too far forward, or some random position they've been using since they were 12. Hand position changes everything about what muscle you're targeting and how much stress you're putting on your joints. Too wide reduces the effective range of motion your chest goes through and increases shear stress on the shoulder capsule. You'll feel like you're working harder, but you're actually working your chest less and your joints more. Too far forward, hands above your shoulders. This is a nightmare for your wrists and shifts the load onto your anterior deltoids, almost exclusively. Your chest basically clocks out. Too narrow, hands touching, diamond push-up style. This smashes your triceps and almost completely removes chest contribution. Good if you're specifically targeting triceps. But most people doing this think they're training their chest. The fix: hands slightly wider than shoulder width, fingers pointing forward or very slightly outward. When you lower down, the bend in your elbows should stack directly over your wrists, meaning your forearms stay roughly vertical. If your wrists are bending way back, your hands are too far forward. That vertical forearm position is the key cue. Screenshot that if you need to. Vertical forearm at the bottom equals correct hand position. Mistake number 5: scapular movement. Back angle shot of someone's scapulae during a push-up, once with no scapular movement, once with full protraction or retraction. Your shoulder blades are frozen, okay? This one's going to get slightly nerdy for about 30 seconds, and then I'll bring it back down to earth. Stay with me. Your shoulder blades, your scapulae, are supposed to move during a push-up. Specifically, they should retract, meaning pull towards your spine as you lower down, and they should protract, spread wide apart, wrapping around your ribcage as you push back up to the top. That top position protraction? That's called the plus position. and it specifically engages a muscle called the serratus anterior, which sits underneath your armpit along your ribs. Strong serratus equals the deep muscular definition along your ribcage. Weak serratus equals shoulder impingement problems and a chest that never fully develops. The plus at the top equals serratus anterior activation. Here's the thing. Most people's shoulder blades don't move at all during push-ups. They're locked in place. And that turns your push-up into a much morelomided movement. You lose the full function of the shoulder girdle. You miss the serratus entirely, and you put more uncontrolled stress on the rotator cuff. The fix, at the very top of each rep. Don't just lock your elbows out and hold. Instead, push the floor away from you. Really reach. Let your upper back round slightly. Feel your shoulder blades spread apart. Then as you lower, them come back together. Naturally. This one change will make your push-ups feel harder and be more productive. That's the goal. Pattern interrupt number 3. You know what the serratus anterior is now. You're officially 10% more dangerous in the gym. Wear that with pride. Mistake number 6. Breathing close-up of face and neck, someone holding breath. Face going red. vs. Controlled breathing. Holding your breath like you're underwater. I know this sounds basic, but watch people doing push-ups and you will see this face is going red. Neck straining. Breath held from rep 1 all the way through to rep 10. Here's what happens physiologically when you hold your breath under exertion. Blood pressure spikes. Oxygen delivery to the working muscles drops. And you fatigue significantly faster than if you breathe correctly. There's a reason powerlifters use a specific breathing technique, the Valsalva maneuver, but they're doing one max effort representative. For sets of push-ups, that's overkill and counterproductive. The correct pattern is simple. Breathe in on the way down. Breathe out on the way up. Inhale as you lower toward the floor. Exhale, forcefully, as you push back up. The exhale should be deliberate, like you're blowing out a candle, not just releasing air. That controlled exhale creates what's called intra-abdominal pressure, which actually helps stabilize your core and protect your spine under load. The fix. Literally, just practice this with air squats or any bodyweight movement before you try it. Mid-push-up set. Inhale down, exhale up. Once it's automatic, your endurance on push-up sets will jump noticeably. This is a free performance upgrade. Mistake number 7. Tempo and intention side by side of someone hammering out sloppy fast reps vs. slow, controlled tempo reps racing to nowhere. Last one. And it might be the most important. Most people treat push-ups like a race. Get them done as fast as possible. Chest barely grazes the floor. Elbows lock out immediately. Next rep after representative. 30 and 45 seconds. Here's the brutal truth. Those 30 reps provided less muscular stimulus than 10 slow, intentional, controlled reps would have. Remember time under tension? The longer your muscle is under load, the more metabolic stress accumulates, the more muscle fibers get recruited, the more growth is triggered. When you race through reps, you're also relying heavily on elastic rebound, the bounce at the bottom which takes the load off your muscles and transfers it onto your connective tissue. The down phase of a push-up, the eccentric phase, is actually more damaging to muscle fibers than the push-up phase. And muscle fiber damage is a primary driver of hypertrophy. By rushing through the lowering, you're literally throwing away the most productive part of every representative. Eccentric phase equals where the gains are hiding. The fix. Try a 3-1-1 tempo. 3 seconds down, slow and controlled. 1 second pause at the bottom. No bouncing. 1 second up. Your sets will be shorter in reps and much harder. 10 reps at this tempo will absolutely humble you if you've been doing sloppy speed reps. And 10 weeks of this will change what your push-up looks like completely. The perfect push-up checklist. Clean, well-lit demonstration of a perfect push-up from multiple angles. Front, side, back. The perfect push-up checklist. Alright, let's put this all together. This is your checklist. Screenshot it. Write it on your hand. Tattoo it somewhere visible. I don't care. Use it. Step-by-step checklist. each point appearing as mentioned at step number 1. Set your base hands slightly wider than shoulder width. Fingers forward or very slightly out. Vertical forearms. When you lower down, that's your guide. Step number 2. Lock your bodice, your glutes. Brace your core like a punch is coming. Body is one straight line. Crown, shoulders, hips, heels. This is your plank. Step number 3. Pull your shoulder blades together before you lower. Gently retract the scapulae. Not aggressively, just engaged. You'll feel your chest spread open slightly. Step number 4. Inhale and lower 3 seconds down. Elbows at 45 degrees. Chest to the floor, or as close as you can get with control. No sagging. No flaring. Step number 5. Position full second at the bottom. No bounce. Feel the stretch in your chest. Step number 6. Exhale and push drive the floor away from you. 1 second up. At the very top. Reach through the push-up. Let your scapulae protract. Feel that plus position. Step number 7. Repeat with intention. Every rep the same. Not racing. Not surviving. Building. Pause. That's it. That is a push-up. Do 10 of those honestly. 10 and you will feel more in your chest, shoulders, and arms than you have in months of your previous high rep sets. Montage of clean push-up form. Energetic, but controlled, simple exercise. Deeper than you thought. Look, the push-up is one of the oldest exercises in human history. It doesn't require equipment, doesn't require a gym membership, doesn't require anything except floor space and the willingness to actually do it correctly. The reason most people plateau on push-ups isn't lack of effort. It's lack of information. They were never taught the mechanics. They learned it in a PE class from a teacher who also learned it wrong. And they've been repeating that mistake for years, getting marginal results and wondering what they're doing wrong. Now, you have no excuse. Here's my challenge to you. Go do 3 sets of push-ups right now. Today, using the checklist. Full range of motion, proper tempo, correct hand and elbow position, scapulae moving, breathing on point. Tell me in the comments how many reps you actually got with correct form, and I'm willing to bet it's significantly less than your usual number. That gap, that's your real starting point, and it's where your real progress begins. Comment your reps below if this video helped you. Like and subscribe to this channel. Got a full video coming on push-up progressions coming next, from wall push-ups all the way to weighted vest push-ups, ring push-ups, and archer push-ups, so you never have to plateau again. You don't want to miss that one. Drop a comment. I read all of them, and I'll see you in the next one.